The charts have spoken and a new pattern is clear. Wow, after yesterday, it looks as though we can definitely determine what exact pattern Bitcoin is currently in, and it may come as no surprise, yet another ascending triangle, guys. We've seen these over and over and over again over the last 6 months, and it looks as though yet another one has formed. So we're going to be talking about the breakout targets of this pattern and when to expect them. That $15,800 level that we've been mentioning is still obviously the big level of resistance. However, it does look more and more likely on this chart that a breakout is actually inevitable very, very soon, and the direction is, in my opinion, somewhat clear. Guys, not only that, but it actually looks more and more likely that Bitcoin actually may not come down to visit this 21-day moving average that we've been mentioning, and this is absolutely wild because over the last 6 months it has every single time, but more and more indications are showing up on these charts that in fact we might not actually go down to see this anytime soon at all. And what exactly is happening with this chart? Is this some sort of a triple top pattern, or is this actually a bullish pattern? And as well, guys, you're not going to want to miss out on the breakout target of this almost 3-year pattern actually is. It's absolutely wild. Welcome back, misunderstood men, wet women, and everything in between. Guys, we have a jam-packed webisode for you today, and we're going to be taking a deep dive into these Bitcoin charts. As of the last 24 hours, I think it's become very clear what pattern on these more macro charts Bitcoin has been confirmed to be. And as we talked about yesterday, we were kind of just waiting for a more macro formation on these charts instead of just some of these small time frames. But it looks as though after yesterday, getting 2 more key confirmations at a very key level, that the next pattern has become clear. And it should come as no surprise that it is a pattern that we have seen over and over and over and over again over the last 6 months. I suppose it makes sense as it is a short-term bullish pattern, and if we're in a long-term bullish uptrend, then why wouldn't we keep seeing this? And in fact, it looks as though we keep seeing this pattern. After you see these charts, you are definitely going to need some moist towelettes. Well, huge! If you guys are new to the channel, as always, make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications so you're updated when we upload absolutely earth-shattering videos like this, guys. And as well, if you're new to the channel, as always, make sure to leave your comment below to enter to win a ledger, equivalent BTC, or access to T4. Subscribers only, and make sure you leave a comment. Wow, so we have a lot to be delving into on these charts today, guys, and specifically an ascending triangle is a pattern, a continuation pattern that we cover very often on this channel. And again, as we said in the intro, over the last few months, it's a pattern that we've seen just over and over. I think actually the ascending triangle is the pattern that we've seen more so than any other triangle, any other channel. We've seen these type of continuation patterns over and over and over again, and in fact, it does look to be forming in yet another bullish context. Yesterday we were talking about these pullback levels. However, after getting 2 more touches on a key trend line, it does in fact look more so like a bullish pattern in the short term. Remember, we've always been extremely bullish mid and long term, but I did think that a pullback in the very short term would be more necessary. However, after analyzing these charts, even on some of these smaller time frames, it looks as though yet another bullish pattern is forming. It's almost mind-blowing that we're just getting bullish after bullish continuation pattern. So again, it makes it a little bit harder, in my opinion, to forecast when we'll actually get a pullback, as so far we're just getting more and more bullish confirmation. So with that being said, again, a ascending triangle is a bullish confirmation. All of this stuff is kind of just basic stuff that I'm not going to waste time talking about. However, what's different between an ascending triangle and a symmetrical triangle is that an ascending triangle has a definitive bullish bias before the actual breakout. Ascending triangles are kind of wishy-washy. They're kind of like a 50-50 bet. But ascending triangles, especially in a continuation context, you know, after breaking up, breaking to the upside and then forming this pattern after something like that, is usually a much more bullish based or more bullish biased pattern than something like a symmetrical triangle. With that being said, we're going to jump into exactly this pattern here on this chart. But guys, the one thing I do want to point out, and it's just something I've been covering for a while now, is that this 21-week moving average will be a level we revisit at some point. But as we're seeing on these charts, it looks as though it may not be anytime soon. And more specifically, the 21-day. We just talked about the 21-week, but also the 21-day moving average is a pattern that we haven't visited as well in about a month also. Okay, so we have not even touched this 21-day in a very, very long time, whereas over the last 6 months, we were testing it fairly often, at least once per month, usually 2 to 3 times per month. Okay, so what's really interesting here is, first, if we start on this chart, again, we're still consolidating, and on this daily chart, you can kind of even see a consolidation pattern taking place here. mainly on this level of upward trending support here of this ascending channel. But pretty much for the most part, when we get on these smaller time frames, you can see why this is actually shaping up to be more bullish short term than anything else. And guys, keep in mind the 21-day moving average is all the way down to exactly 14,000 US dollars. Currently, we're over $1,200 above that. Now, the reason this is short-term bullish in my opinion, first we can start off here. You can see there's a very clear top, and that's a level we've been talking about for a few days. That's kind of been the only definitive technical resistance that we've seen so far, but it is the 15.8, and that is the breakout level, in my opinion. You know, we break 15.8, that's where we break out to this very key target that we're going to talk about on this chart. But as you can see, that's very clear, but now we also have these ascending lows or higher lows, and these just actually got printed on the chart within the last 24 hours. So these both happened yesterday. But it's very clear now, even just looking on this chart, there is an upward trending level of support. But also very key to note right now is that we're trending immediately below this VPVR point of control, this red line that you see kind of plastered across the middle of the screen here. This line right here where the culminated VPVR volume is, and that's exactly what we're trading below, and that's roughly about 15.5 exactly. So a $300 difference between the point of control and the breakout target, which basically is represented in this box right here. And if we go to the 4-hour chart, because this is the 1-hour chart, the 4-hour chart has a great illustration of this. Again, the 15.8 is this very key level that we're going to break out to the upside if we break here. But you can see at this very moment, we're testing the very bottom of this ascending triangle, and you can see multiple 4-hour closes getting bounces exactly at the same level. And again, these last two were only determined within the last 24 hours. So again, in my opinion, it makes this pattern much more clear and much more valid. And at this point, again, I think it's very, very clear that this is an ascending triangle. Now, ascending triangles do typically break out to the upside, especially in this context where we're coming into them in kind of a bullish formation like that, right? But just for fun, let's actually do a downward break, what level that would be to if it broke to the downside, let's say roughly anytime soon. That would actually bring us to about 13.8, which as you can see is kind of this level of support turn resistance turn support down here. And you can see the VPVR volume is actually pretty great there as well. But again, more likely than not, this will actually break to the upside, and the upside target is actually pretty wild, okay? About 17,000 US dollars, which is pretty nuts. About a little over $1,000 higher than the high that we saw over the past week. This level that we really want to watch though is the 15.5, and even on this 4-hour chart, you can see same VPVR point of control level. It's directly in the middle here, and it's also why I have this blue box right here. Because again, this is kind of like the heart level of this ascending triangle that, you know, breaking above this, I think will really give us a nice shot to, again, retest this. And this would be the area where I think we actually do break out. So we'll see this probably fairly soon. We'll definitely see it during this week. The climax of this triangle is actually over the next 3 days, but it'll most likely break, in my opinion, within the next 2 days from now. But you can see we've actually kind of, for the most part, been trading below this 15.5 basically this entire time over the last 2 days, aside from this one pump that we got here to about 15.8 and got that very strong rejection, right? This is the strongest rejection so far we've seen within this ascending triangle. But right now you can see, again, we're trending on the very bottom of this ascending triangle. A break to about 15.5 is the next significant level. Whether or not we go straight up to 15.8 or we come back to this level will be telling, because if we come back to this 15.5 and then also revisit this again, this actually makes it lean a little bit more bearish in the short term. So that's what you want to watch out for. When we approach this 15.5, which I think is very likely over the next few hours even, right, when we approach this level, if we break that and head up here, I think it's very likely we're going to see a breakout here. You only need 2 touches on the top for this to be a valid ascending triangle, and only 2 on the bottom, but now we have 3 on the bottom. So 2 on the top, 3 on the bottom here. That within, and again, this is in the territory of where we actually see breakouts for ascending triangles, kind of within this zone here. So I think that over the next few hours, so the next 3 or 4 4-hourly candles, so let's say 12 to 16 hours from this video, breaking the 15.5 concretely and going up to 15.8 makes it extremely likely, in my opinion, that we're going to have a breakout, potentially all the way up to that $17,000 level. But if we come up to this 15.5 and we get a rejection again at 15.5, it makes it more likely, in my opinion, we're actually going to fail this breakout, and it could actually swing to the other direction, you know, going slightly even below 14,000. So that's basically what I'll watch out for. This 15.5, in my opinion, is going to be the thing to watch over the next 12 to 16 hours right here. Because depending on if we shoot right through this, that'll be a very telltale sign. And then if we shoot right through it to 15.8, that is exactly where we want to watch for a massive breakout to the upside. And as well, guys, the SPX is in a very interesting position as well. Even though we set new all-time highs yesterday, it does look, I mean, we're kind of just trending right on this same exact level, right about 3,600 roughly. Actually, about 3,550 more so. But we really want to be careful and watch out for this because this pattern has been tightening and tightening. And again, I think this does have a little bit of a mind of its own. Bitcoin and SPX have, again, been kind of continuing that pattern of not following the same pattern, that pattern of decoupling a little bit. So I want to watch the SPX as well. And guys, the entire cryptocurrency market cap, as you can see, we just talked about ascending triangles on these very short time frames. This is like a 3-year ascending triangle. Okay, the only area that's not included in this is that black swan event right here. And other than that, this entire trend has been incredibly valid. The only area that this has not been valid, again, is that black swan event, which makes sense, right? You cannot factor in TA when basically the whole world collapses. Basically, the breakout target of this, guys, in my opinion, is in multi-trillion-dollar range, right? It's in my opinion, we're going to have a multi-trillion-dollar Bitcoin alone, right? But a multi-trillion-dollar entire cryptocurrency market cap is obviously, in my opinion, very, very close. We're very close to something like that, right? I'm not talking about just Bitcoin being $1 trillion, which I do think is inevitable, but I'm talking about the entire crypto cap being $1 trillion plus, which even in 2017, we came all the way up to 763. So over 3/4 of $1 trillion. So we already have been within 75 to 80% of $1 trillion for the entire cryptocurrency market cap. Unbelievable. So guys, make sure to subscribe to the channel and leave your comment below to enter for the giveaways. And as well, if you guys are interested in trading, you have experience and you want to support the channel, make sure to take advantage of our current bonuses below. You can see it in the description and pin in the comments up to an additional 610 limited time bonus. You can see the different deposit levels there using that code WIN $500 and up to an additional $110 in rewards bonuses above that. So as well, guys, those will be credited to your account on the 25th of December. And if you guys have absolutely any questiones, make sure to shoot me an email.